Hello and welcome to another installment of the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper, the only fantasy football app made for fans by fans. This is the show where we take a look at all the details and goings on in the league because we all know our commissioner won't. I'm here with my co-host as usual, Mr. RJ Wagner. RJ, how are you doing?
Sam Laporta.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got for you.
What's more there to say? And this week we've got our guest. You know him, you love to hate him, Mr. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just okay, Ted. I'm happy to be on, and I'm nervous. I'm feeling nervous, and I'm feeling kind of spooky on this Halloween Tuesday. But glad to be here.
It is Halloween.
The date
I was gonna wear my banana.
There's still time.
Oh yeah. And then the commercial break, maybe you could who knows? Well, Mr. It's nice to have you on. Let's take a look at the week 8 recap. Let's look at the first game, a nail biter, with our very own RJ Wagner beating Trevor 116.76 to 116.6. Sam Laporta getting 15.7 points on Monday Night Football. Insane. Jordan Love didn't do too much, but the rest of his team did just enough. RJ, what do you have to say about your big win?
Ted, I don't want to make you feel worse because, all too well, I know what it's like losing week after week after week after week. That's what's been happening to us. But it feels unbelievable, waking up on a Tuesday morning and seeing that one extra number put into that win column. It was a pretty all around typical performance for my whole team. Quarterback, it's sad when my quarterback gets 16 points and I'm not disappointed. I'm actually pretty happy. Travis Etienne has played nothing short of spectacular. He's picked up the slack for my quarterback position. Kenneth Walker for me and Pacheco for Trevor were both pretty disappointing performances, honestly. Kenneth Walker, I knew, had a calf injury early on in the week, which hindered his usage. And overall, it was a pretty rough day for the Seahawks. Pacheco had the ability, but just didn't do as much as he should have, in my opinion.
No.
Facing a bottom 3 rushing defense. Pacheco only got 8 carries, but he had 40 yards on his 8 carries. That's 5 yards per carry for you Deloitte mathematicians. Ultimately, though, he had 40 yards, but he needed 48 to beat me. He needed 48, and he didn't get 48. Now me and Trevor are both 3-5, and me having that season sweep over him, that's going to be massive. I feel like when the tiebreakers come into effect late in the season. I'm just glad I survived another week, and there's a lot of football left, so no, not too much celebration yet.
Mr. B, do you have anything to say on this matchup?
I do. I think RJ covered the tactical points pretty well, but I want to go high level for a second. So as RJ pointed out, I work at Deloitte. I work in business. And because of that, I want to do some buying and selling here. I want to buy RJ and I want to sell Trevor hard. I mean, this guy, RJ, don't let the record fool you. 3rd in the league in points scored. No one scored more points against him. The highest points against by about 60. I mean, the poor guy starting Jordan Love can't get a 20-piece from a quarterback to save his life, and he's still hanging on. Every skill player in double digits except for Kenneth Walker, who had the worst game of his entire season. I mean, let's wake up here. RJ didn't even start Bijan Robinson, and he goes and gets a dub against Trevor.
I like this guy. That's what I like to hear. Maybe we need to have him on more often.
Brown
That's how he
knows
gets
the
you.
podcast co-host, baby.
Yeah.
But RJ is dangerous. I'm buying him heavy, and no one wants to play him right now. Now, Trevor, on the other hand, I drive a hard bargain, but I don't think I can get more than a couple of bucks for that team. I mean, the guy is a murderer at quarterback. The police are on their way now. He starts a quarterback, and they're out for the season. We'll get
Joe
to
Burrow, Anthony Richardson,
let's
Kirk
rattle them
Cousins,
off.
dead.
Aaron Rodgers was on his bench week 1. Don't forget that. He took 2 Achilles. 2 Achilles, and we're week 7, right? Week 8.
He needs to be stopped.
He took him and
Yeah.
he put him right in his freezer.
An investigation needs to start.
Absolutely. Well, I've certainly started it. It'll become public soon enough. But Pacheco with 5 points showing who he really is. I mean, he's looking for top, like Justin Jefferson like production from Stephon Diggs. It just hasn't been there the last 3 weeks. I mean, selling hard on Trevor, but that's my take on this game. I don't know where he goes from here. But RJ, I'm buying you up heavy. Maybe a mid-season championship future bet. Would love the odds on that.
Wow.
Now let's take a look at our next matchup. This one, I think, surprised us all. Chase beat Monty 100-95. It was Sir Binks-a-Lot first week as the lowest scorer. Cup with 4.1. Darren Waller with not even a single point. Christian McCaffrey can't carry that team. No one could. Chase had a nice week with Jamar finally getting back into it. TJ Hawkinson really pulling his weight as what I like to think of as like the sleeper tight end this year. RJ, what do you have to say about this surprising matchup?
Sleeper, an app built by fans for fans. I think it's worth noting that with Waller getting hurt, that Binks would have won this matchup if he never made that trade with Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
If he had Mark Andrews, he would have won the matchup. Or if Binks just started the right quarterback, Tua over Lamar. I mean, it's I've had this issue before when you have 2 extremely solid quarterbacks. It gets so frustrating because you overanalyze every little aspect of the game because they're both so good. Either one could start over the other. I think he needs to make a trade. To me, one of the quarterbacks, I would love one of them. I mean, I am begging you, Binks-a-Lot, even though I am facing him this week, so I doubt he'd do anything. But yeah, the output by Cup is certainly concerning. I'm sure he'll be fine. And with CMC being CMC, of course, like you said, he couldn't carry the team this week, but I mean, he's carried him pretty far, and at least he has a winning record, which is better than over half the league. Chase still got the win, but it is worth noting that he kept 35 points on his bench with CeeDee Lamb, starting Brandon Ayuk over him. You got to wonder if Chase had some insider trading info that just went a little stale with that one. I think there also needs to be an investigation with that. But yeah, that's what I got.
What do you got, Mr. Guestman?
You know what I had? Let me get close to the camera here. See that? What am I doing? I'm raising.
You have acne?
I'm raising my eyebrows.
Are you showing me a blemish?
And it is exactly what I was doing when I saw the trade go through a few weeks ago. I took a long look at Sir Binks-a-Lot's team, and I said, I don't know about this trade. It looks pretty good on paper, but I think he might hit a little skid, and that's exactly what's happening. I mean, just gross quarterback play in this entire matchup. But Waller getting hurt, I had one note here. I from an inside source inside the Rams locker room, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua have been listening to our podcast, and they were pretty upset about the talk about target distribution. So they just decided to both play terrible. 17 targets, 7 catches, and 60.
They distributed it evenly, just really bad both ways.
Exactly.
They showed us.
Exactly. They took us everything we said and flipped it on its head. I mean, 17 targets, 7 catches, and 64 yards between them. Burn the tape. It's just disgusting. At Stafford, I think, got hurt too. But look, I mean, Sir Binks-a-Lot, he's a nice guy. He's been on the pod a few times, has some killer Travis Etienne bets, but you can't tell me he's not losing some sleep right now. I mean, that's 3 out of 4 losses, and where are we? Huh? Eyebrows
Eczema?
are raised.
Eczema?
I don't know. And what's been the big sticking point with that trade is, when Justin Jefferson comes back, who's going to throw to him? That's my question. The deadline is in a few hours.
Big.
Is it Jameis time? A lot of questions, not just in Minnesota, but about 2 miles north of me here in Chicago in Sir Binks-a-Lot's apartment right now. Other than that,
we can dig a little deeper on this. I wonder if Trevor started Kirk knowing that he'd get hurt and he would win the trade.
I think
He knew he would win the
God.
trade by hurting Kirk.
This
I
is
don't know.
breaking right now. That's huge.
Trevor's
six-
devious.
The 6 of us are playing checkers. Monty's playing chess, and the commissioner's playing 5-dimensional, just 4x2 chess. 3 games
He's
at
playing
once.
the devil. He's playing the devil.
He is the devil.
He's Lucifer.
He's got a deal.
Other than that, I mean, look, my only note on the other side of this was Chase has forgotten more about fantasy football than I'll ever know. I'm not even allowed to talk. I'm not even allowed to talk about his team. He's going to be there at the end. The team looks solid. I'm not an expert enough to talk about a seasoned veteran like Chase. So what a win. 3 out of 4 losses for Monty. Food for thought.
Since
That's
the
all I'll
trade.
say.
That's rough.
2 out of
Trevor?
3 losses since the trade, I believe. I think it was 3 weeks ago. Because he lost before the trade.
Let's take a look into the next week. We've got Kyle beating me 133-107. My top players were consistent, I can say. Derrick Henry, Saquon, Terry McLaurin, 14 points, Herbert with 30 points, but just the depth was not there. I had 5 players in the single digits, and it's just not fun, especially going into Sunday night without my quarterback. It's just tough. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch a single second of live NFL football this week. It's become sad. It hurts me to watch. You know, I'm used to the success and I can't handle the failure. Kyle's team, he finally had Eckler and Gibbs doing what he wanted them to do. Eckler with 20, Gibbs with 27. I think Kyle's got to be feeling pretty good about both of them. RJ, do you have, or perhaps Mr.
Yeah. No, I'm
what
here.
do you have, RJ? Okay.
You know, I just think, all right, Charity. God, why does she have to blow dry her hair right now? and I had to poop. That's why I went inside. Yeah, you know, this week I feel like it's just a glimpse of what Kyle's team could be, that it's supposed to be, you know, instead of solely be relying on Josh Allen. The way it's built around great running backs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect complementary receivers to have an overall solid team. You know, if Tony Pollard ever came back into his own, I don't really know what's going on. He was a much better backup running back than he is starting running back. I've seen that his snap share has decreased. His carries have decreased. His work, like, he's not built for a workload, which is shocking to me with what he did with such little workload last year. But anyways, if he ever came into his own, really be a team to look out for. Devonta had a great game despite A.J. Brown still on that record pace, which is unbelievable. Overall, really good performance. Now, Ted, let me start with the positives, okay? That's what King Henry is supposed to look like, right? 22 carries, over 100 yards. That's the workhorse that you drafted him out. And then Saquon, the man, did you see how many carries he had? He had 36 carries.
Yeah.
36 carries. Is that not a record? Like, that is unbelievable.
It's just both their teams suck.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like -7 passing yards as a team? It was something ridiculous.
NFL record. Yes. Tyrod had 8 passing yards and the backup guy had -1.
Jesus.
NFL record for a full game, 7 passing yards. Unbelievable. But yeah, Justin Herbert performed great, but Rashee Rice, Kyle Pitts, Aaron Jones definitely left a lot to be desired. It will be interesting. I want to hear your thought. If Taylor Heineke is the starting quarterback, how do you think that will help or hurt Kyle Pitts? My opinion, I think that would help him overall, even though he did start that second half of the game. I feel like he did involve him more. It's more pass heavy of a team with Heineke at quarterback, and he was pretty accurate and pretty good. I'm curious what you think if he started a full game.
I don't know enough about Tyler Heineke to tell you how he uses his tight ends.
Taylor,
I'm hoping,
I think, right? Taylor? Is it Tyler?
Taylor.
Yeah, it's Taylor.
Exactly. Like I'm saying, I don't know enough about Mr. Heineke to know how he uses his tight ends. But the only thing I can tell you is it's probably better than Desmond Ridder throwing to him.
Oh, my God.
I'm just looking for
Charity,
any change.
Charity, nip it. Charity, nip it.
Here,
hey,
just have
Charity.
Come here.
Charity, nip it. Charity, nip it.
Here,
Hey,
just have
Charity.
Here,
Hey,
just have her.
Charity. I got to poop. I'm just letting you know, and that was really loud. Yeah, no big deal. Sorry, Charity. I didn't mean to yell. Oh, yeah, I was yelling.
Let's have an RJ Charity fighting segment.
Domestic
Charity-
dispute live on the podcast.
A domestic. Let's get back to it.
That's all I had. That was it.
Yeah, Kevin, did you have anything about Kyle and I's matchup?
I did. You got RJ. I mean, let me just say, you guys put the work in. Like you said when to be here. I mean, everything was just all planned out. RG, both of you guys with these stats, it's unbelievable. I'll also say, really pissing me off, RJ going around with palm trees in the background while it is snowing here in Chicago. But I digress. Look, Ted.
That had nothing to do with the matchup.
Ted. This is a safe space. You were getting a little deep with us at the beginning of this matchup breakdown, and I want you to stay in that mental space. Look, a while ago, RJ questioned, where does Jack go with his team? I'm kind of questioning where you go with your team. It's a safe space. Ted, you have dropped to last place. You started 2-0. People forget Teddy was 2-0 and has dropped 5 out of 6. In those 5 losses, you're averaging 88.58 points. You have the lowest points for in the league. Where do you go?
I didn't even know that. That's shocking.
I bring the stats. Ted, starting 2-0, that blew my mind, and having dropped 5 out of 6. Ted, I know your head's got to be spinning a little bit. Where do you go? Do you make a move?
You know, I'm not going to lie. A lot of my fantasy football mental resources are put into this podcast. So then by the end of the week, I'm a little bit burnt out. So I think definitely what I need to do is settle down, look myself in the eye, and make some roster moves. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've ad dropped in 3 or 4 weeks. I don't think I've changed
Justin
players.
Herbert. Trade Justin Herbert to me.
Something like that needs to be done. I'm not saying drastic, but you're right, Kevin. I'm on a skid that's worse than my underpants in the 5th grade. Wow. It's not looking good.
I'll cheers to that.
Let me tell you.
I
think
eat
something
that.
dramatic needs to be done.
Are you doing shots on the toilet? Yeah, Ted. Ted.
Jeez. Celebratory.
Teddy, I just point out these things because I care about you. But you're going to get back on that horse. It sounds like your head's on straight. I know we spent a lot of time on this matchup. I just want to give Kyle his flowers really quick. I mean, you guys have been saying his team looks good on paper, and here he is breaking through high scorer of the week. I mean, Eckler, Devonta Smith, like Jahmyr Gibbs, MVP of the team for sure with 27 plus last night. Kyle's got to be happy about that and happy moving forward. I believe I have him this week, but that's a conversation for the week 9 preview. So props to Kyle on a big win.
Yep. And then moving on, like you were saying, Kevin, we've been spending a little too much time. So we'll just say, you beat Jack 114-109, and we can just move on to the next segment if that's cool.
I could maybe expand off.
I actually have a lot of notes. Actually, this is my longest notes of the whole recap.
All right, we can get into it fine. Jalen Hurts, 35 points. Josh Jacobs, Jordan Addison adding to it. Get off my lawn. Had that week we've been talking about where Mahomes disappoints, and then Tyreek, A.J. Brown, Kittle can't do it. Deonta Foreman is who we thought he was, a no one. Jack just got lucky last week, but RJ, what more do you have to say?
Bullshit. Yeah, I'll start with get off my lawn. 0 consistency from running back play. 0. Absolutely. It's a circus in the backfield. No, it's super inconsistent. And I'm going to go on record by saying it is the worst backfield in our whole league. And I really don't think that's in question if you look at his backfield.
Hey, RJ, you say circus, I say clown show.
Oh,
I mean, that sounds like a synonym. Sounds like the exact same.
Whoa.
What?
Get off my lawn is going to be furious listening to that.
He doesn't listen.
On his drive to Lake Tahoe. But anyways, it's tough not to question if his team can sustain the success that he has through the playoffs. Mahomes being sick definitely hurt the team. With all that being said, yes, he has the best, and I'll go on record saying this, the best wide receiver duo this fantasy league has ever seen. Okay?
Wow.
Both guys are on absolute record paces. They're already breaking records. I feel like there's no question in saying that if we were to redraft, these two guys would not go in the first probably 3-4 picks. I mean, those two specifically. Let me look at my notes real quick. Sorry. Oh yeah, with those two, he'll be in every single matchup. But if he runs into a team that just starts the right receivers, like you could stream receivers that just go nuclear one week. If he starts or if he faces a team that
what?
If he faces a team that just starts the right receivers with stud backs, it's just going to take one tough week to get knocked out of the playoffs. And for Beep's team, thank goodness for Josh Jacobs' touchdown, because if not, he would have lost this week without that touchdown. And actually, if you were watching the game, I'm not sure if you were. Right before he scored the touchdown, 2 plays before it, he came out of the game literally holding his stomach and going, and on the sidelines was on his knees. And I was like, this is not good because they're about to score. They run with the backup running back. He gets stuffed, and then Josh Jacobs comes right back in and scores a touchdown. Like he seemed to be in tons of pain. I don't know what happened. But yeah, it was close. Jalen Hurts is a stud. What more can you say there? You know, it's definitely interesting. If Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins, if they have just unlocked some sort of unreal chemistry with Hopkins' talent, I think that could be massive. And would definitely help with Jordan Addison, you know, losing Kirk. I feel like that is kind of gone. I mean, he's kind of done there, because if you looked at the game after Kirk went out, they're nothing on offense, and it'll be interesting to see what the Vikings do.
Do you have anything to say after what you're calling the giant killer?
Do I ever? You know, they think I'm out and they just pull me right back in. I was 2-4. Look, I don't do a whole lot of look ahead as far as, who do I play past this week? It just kind of comes to me Tuesday morning. Had I known that I was going Monty Jack, sitting there at 2-4 with a reeling team, would have been smashing the panic.
My shit is stuck on the side of the toilet. Like, it's
I
not
hate when
flushing.
that happens. But yeah, I mean, last week I labeled myself as the villain, and this week I have no choice but to rebrand as the giant killer. I mean, 2 guys who looked unstoppable. I've dethroned them both. Like you guys said, it came down to quarterback. I mean, Hurts and Mahomes, 2 of the best in the league. Hurts outscored him by 29.72, and I won the game by 4.42. So huge at quarterback. I made a note that according to our statistician, Kyle Whitlock, I'm continuing to mimic the Tennessee Titans. We both won this week. A cool little note that I like to call the drop-a-thon. So Jack and I both dropped players that the other team picked up. I couldn't believe he dropped Jordan Addison. Like RJ said, that's kind of dead now because Kirk's hurt. But he was huge with 18 points for me. And I had dropped Deontay Foreman, which worked out pretty well in my favor as he only got jacked 4 points. But I'm very happy. I feel like I'm back. I'm from 2-4, reeling, playing the Goliaths of the league. Somehow went 2-0 against them, and I'm ready to roll.
Wow,
that's all we got.
That's all
we got for the recap.
That's all we got for that.
Overall in the league, we were 4.82 points away from Binks for everyone being over 100 points for the first time this season. We were so close. And if you look at the breakdown and overall points scored, it seems like Jack is making a clear-cut case for that number 1 seed. You know, little Binky is slipping a little bit with Beep and me very close behind. You know, it does seem like Chase. What? It does seem like Chase has gotten fairly lucky this season with the same breakdown record as Kyle. at 23-33 as
You're
overall
kidding.
breakdown record. Nope. Second worst
Yeah.
record behind the host of the podcast. Actually, he's in last. But yeah, Chase is 5-3 with that breakdown record. And last week he was 1-6, but he got the win facing Monty, who is 0-7.
Yeah. Would have
Must
lost
be
against
nice.
anyone else.
So,
well, that's all we have for this first segment. We've got a sponsorship break coming up. Stay with us. We've got Kyle's stat of the week. We've got the big polls to talk about,
massive
all the polls to talk about. And then we've got the week 9 preview and maybe even more. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll go into our sponsor.
Stability never felt better. From downtown to uptown, take the scenic route. From the everyday to the unexpected, you can run through it. Adapt to stability and premium comfort. The Gel Kayano 30 shoe. Nothing feels better.
oh man.
All right,
Well,
let's get back to it.
that was a great ad. I really appreciate them, being there for us, and I'll cheers to that. What was the ad this week?
This week it was another A6 Gel Contend ad. We love them.
Oh,
Chasing
can't really take a shot
vodka
right
with
now.
some coffee.
Did you take a shot of vodka, Kevin?
Uh-oh, beep boop bop. What do you think's in here? Uh-oh, pink. P is for vodka.
Just water. Like that's all it is. Probably fresh Arctic water that he ordered in glass.
You know what it is? I think it's giant killing juice. And I've been sucking it down for weeks.
Can you kick him? Get Jack on here. Or get
Nuclear.
Let's keep rolling. We've got Kyle's stat of the week. And boy, let me tell you, hey, Kyle, I'm looking at you. I am loving these stats.
Yes.
These are relevant. These are fun. They make you look at them. This week, his stats.
They make you look at them.
I actually have the
point.
updated stats. Kyle he's focusing in on scoring touchdowns because at the end of the day, that's what this game's about. Kyle went through the data. If you score between 2 and 4 touchdowns, you have a 25% chance of winning. You score 5, bumps up to 70%. You score 6, up to 87. You score 7, it's a guaranteed win.
I didn't change into the banana costume.
A6 gave you plenty of time.
Fuck. Yeah, no, those stats are awesome. Big fan of them. Kyle, just keep them coming because that's pretty much all I focus on throughout the actual fantasy week. On Sundays, I count my touchdowns now. Like last week, I did that just to see my percentage of winning solely based on that. I am literally counting those stats as my life.
And just taking a look at this week, I went through and looked through each game. At the lowest touchdown total, Get Off My Lawn, his team only had 3, and he lost.
And I beat him by that little?
Yes. Talk about yards. I had 4, I lost. Chase had 4, he won because he's playing Monty, who also had 4. RJ, now you had 5, and you're the only person this week to win with less touchdowns.
You did say that you looked into this. Kyle literally messaged this out before we this exact stats. Like, what are you looking at on your computer screen?
Oh,
yeah. He sent that. That's what I was talking about. But I was just talking about looking at this week. Like you had 5 touchdowns. Trevor had 6.
Where did I read that? Maybe I'm drunk. Wait, oh no, it was did you put that in the notes?
I put that in the notes. This was the research I was doing at 1 a.m. last night.
Just throwing Teddy's research out the window.
Oh
but
man.
Let's lock back in because in honor of this stat, I have a question for you guys. Little trivia. Ted, RJ, which touchdown is the most important one?
The next one.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Was that the answer you were looking for?
Absolutely, the next one.
Wonderful.
That's why you guys host. Always locked in. RJ's doing shots.
I was going to say Sam Laporta's.
How many
That was
shots?
also very important.
How many shots was that, RJ?
That's just 2. I've lost some weight, so I'm. It only takes a couple.
And keep in mind, it's 12:45 p.m. on a work day, on a Tuesday.
Yep, on my lunch break.
On his lunch break. So, Kyle, I just want to say I love the stat. Love what you're doing. Keeps me involved, even if my team doesn't win. I can feel good about something. Now, next up, we have the pole position, a title that's been shared between Monty and RJ. We had a lot of good opportunities for polls, a lot of will someone get this amount of points? Will something happen? Will someone lose? But there were no polls this week, not a single poll. I just want to talk. We're just going to go. I don't want to hear anything from you, RJ. I just want to say quit shirking your responsibility and let's move on.
No. I need to address this because it's been brought to my attention that people still think I'm in charge of the polls. We need to make this clear if I'm in charge of the polls or Monty, because since week 2, when Monty took over the polls, this podcast even said how it was Monty's polls now. Now, I got a text earlier last week from our commissioner. Okay? That looks horrible.
The day-old chocolate chip pancake.
Okay, let's keep on the relevant conversation.
All right, hold on. Sorry. I need to go inside. But I will say, the commissioner reached out, okay, early last week. And I'll read you his text verbatim to me. Performance reviews are in, and it seems like there is a slacking on poll making. HR is murmuring that a potential mid-season firing needs to take place. Would you like to say anything to try and save the job, or are you okay with HR looking for a next potential candidate?
Wow.
Yes, and yeah, that pissed me off, as he is my opponent for this week. So I responded with, you should hire the other person that applied. Oh, wait, there was not a single other person that applied. Week 3, I passed on my poll duties to Sir Binks-a-Lot. Did you not hear on the pod?
Oh, shit.
He said, is this an official resignation statement? And I said, no. Is Kelsey coming to Jacksonville? Charity was wondering. That's a different, that was
Wait
a
a
different story.
Wait, keep going.
And then he texted me, I want you to die. So that is the commissioner that we are dealing with here.
Flip it. Screenshot it. I
receipts.
want you to die.
But let me say about this week, I was a nervous wreck. I didn't want to mention anything, didn't want to say anything about my matchup. I think most people would be in my position, would agree. Like, that was a must win for me, so I didn't want to jinx anything by making a poll. If I'm going to be the poll maker still, I will gladly continue to make polls, but we need to make this known who is the poll maker and who is not. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry, Ted. I know we're taking a while, but
no, it's okay. I think it's good to know how the commissioner treats those in position, and I think that's how we kind of got into this. That's how we got in this mess in the first place. Is you didn't want to make polls because you felt disrespected.
Yep, exactly.
Are you crying?
Yeah. There's just something in my eye that is allergies. It's sad. It's sad what the commissioner does to you when you put week in and week out. And Teddy, you should know this, into this podcast, and it's almost like he doesn't care. You know, it hurts my feelings. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up a little bit. It's tough. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I feel like I'm disrespected. So I'm glad that I beat him this week, Sam Laporta.
To Sam Laporta.
Well said.
I would take a shot, but it's out there with my neighbor, and I just don't want to go get it right now.
You drink with your neighbor in the middle of a Tuesday?
Nuclear!
Boing.
New York.
Why don't we keep going? We've been rambling for just a little bit. We've got the Week 9 preview coming at you.
As we begin the preview of week 9 of the 2023 ZFFL, I must remind you of our great sponsorship over at our ZFFL ASICS Sportsbook, ASICS Footwear. The new Jogger X81 sneaker draws inspiration from various jogging shoes. Why are you showing your foot? There's no ASICS.
That's where the ASICs go, baby. I need me a pair.
Shoes in the ASICS archive. The design pays homage to Japan's thorough recycling processes. I haven't even read this yet. That helps the country maintain a clean environment. It features recycled paper, synthetic leather, and polyester to conserve resources for the good of the planet. We took inspiration from the Ultimate Shoes cushioning structure by updating this technology with larger holes on the outside and smaller holes on the inside. The shoe offers better cushioning and stability. Get your Jogger X81s for only $140. ASICS. ASICS. A sound mind is a sound body.
Only $1.
Well, thank you.
That's for me and Teddy. We have a secret link that we can get the Jogger 81s for $1.
Yeah, it's like the sponsorship.
You guys deserve
link.
it.
Yep.
Well, let's get into the week 9 preview. Mr. O'Brien, if you don't know, the way this works is I'll give the matchup, I'll give just some touches on top, and then the sportsbook gives its analysis, and then we see who are you taking with the line, who you taking money line. Looking into the first matchup, talking about the poll makers, I'm calling this the battle of the poll. We've got Monty at RJ. This is going to be tough because Christian McCaffrey's out on a bye, and that has been brutal for Monty because just looking ahead, seeing him carrying his team this whole way, he needs him. Who's he going to – it's kind of tough. He's a little short at running back because he gave Pacheco away. He's got Jonathan Taylor, who just had a monster week in there. RJ has another tough week at quarterback play just off the top. He's got Sam Howell, which is just an interesting decision. He needs some big plays out of his running back. He needs Bijan, Kenneth Walker to do what they have done. Will they continue to do it? This isn't a must win for RJ, but it's a needs to win, I think.
Yeah, first off, I will say that the book got swept this past week. For the first time ever, it has taken a massive hit. And honestly, I feel like the public is starting to catch on with week 6 being the smallest profit of the book's existence, and then week 7 getting swept. The public's starting to catch on, so everyone needs to start getting in on this money with the book. Now for the matchup, Binks beat me the first time around. Looking at this matchup, we both have our stud running backs out with bye. You mentioned CMC. I have ETN. Laporta, my last week's savior, is out with Amon-Ra St. Brown for him. With my team, I do see a lot of tough matchups this week, especially my wide receivers. If you go and look at them, while Binks has much better matchups in comparison, the depth with Binks has with guys like Jonathan Taylor on his bench, being able to plug and play him where CMC would be. The book really likes Binks a lot. It is fairly close, but it does have Binks a lot. Pardon?
It's hard not to like Binks a lot.
Yeah, you have the worst. You have the worst breakdown. You have the worst breakdown. So I don't want to hear it from you. Binks a lot -5 at a Binky -155, RJ -112, I guess, in the money line. I think I meant to put 110, but I accidentally put 12. So
Bink.
-112 on here. What do you think? Beep or Kev? Now you're Kev.
I think a handful of things, but another thing I think is I've clearly learned to do my research from you guys, because you took pretty much all of my notes, which is fantastic. I call that same wavelength. That's what I say. But let's see what I got here. Ted, you said it was the poll maker matchup. I call this the opposite day matchup. Why?
Ooh.
Because on paper it looks like
that sounds maybe a little little racist. That's all I got to say.
Whoa,
is
whoa,
that-
whoa, whoa.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. That's
You
what the
just
producer said in my ear that
Now,
you're
can you
proven to be-
explain why you're calling this matchup with Monty against RJ the opposite day matchup?
I would love to hear
I
this.
will. Because look, usually with how this season has gone, I look at this and I'm like, RJ's down here. And I'm on record saying about 2 weeks ago it was Monty's championship to lose. It is opposite day. It is Halloween, it's spooky, and it's opposite day. I say RJ is on the upswing. And wait, where are we? The eyebrows back. 3 out of 4 losses.
Eczema.
For
Rosacea.
Big-a-lot.
Rosacea.
It is kind of hot in here. You guys remember what I said about Monty earlier? It's opposite day for me. I'm on RJ and that -112 or whatever it was you said.
Wow.
Like you said, Bijan, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans playing some tough defenses. For Monty, JT and Zach Moss are officially a split backfield. JT only had 1 second half carry last Sunday.
Whoa. I did
1
not
second
know
half
that.
carry after like 90-something rushing yards in the first half.
Mhm.
Yeah, bizarre.
Wow.
Colts did not stop running the ball, and I don't know what was going on there, but you guys said it all. I mean, McCaffrey and ETN out on buys is huge. I just have one more thing to point out. I'm going to get close again. RJ, I see Kyler Murray stashed away on your bench. I just want you to know I see it. I'll tell you what, Kyler Murray, the guy likes video games. He likes this, that, and the other. He gets a bad rap. I've had Kyler Murray before. Guy puts up some numbies. We all know I like me a running quarterback. Jalen Hurts changing my season. Kyler, he's a player, and I see him. I see him on your bench. I see him.
He's there,
That's it for me.
and I've heard that there is a chance that he might start this week. I don't know what I'll do at quarterback. It's still completely up in the air. Like you said, I have Sam Howell right now. Absolutely horrible matchup up in New England with Bill Belichick. But there was literally not much I can do at this point. I cannot start Jordan Love again. He's gotten under 20 every single game. And I do realize that Sam Howell has had unbelievable matchups this whole season. He's had great matchups, which is why his numbers are a little inflated. I don't know what to do. If Kyler starts, I might go ahead and start him. Who knows? All I know is, did you see what's the head coach's name? Is it Rich Gannon? It's not Rich Gannon, right?
Jonathan
That's the head coach.
Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon.
Whatever.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Whatever his name is. He said that Joshua Dobbs is not starting. It's either Kyler or the Charlie Tune or something Tune,
Yeah.
Undrafted
the third
rookie.
stringer, which makes me think it has to be Kyler because I feel like Joshua Dobbs has done fairly well. in his
Nuclear.
position. He has not
Well,
gone nuclear.
Let's keep
Kyler
rolling.
might start. I don't know. Go ahead.
That'll be something to watch. But next matchup, we've got me, Teddy, playing Jack. This one, I think Jack needs a big bounce back performance, and I think I might be the person to do it against. He needs Mahomes, who's playing Miami, to get some big numbers. I'm seeing that it's a 9:30 game. It's a 9:30 game. So it is across the pond. We will see how that affects production, but I know Mahomes will be looking to get back. Like you're saying, Jack's running backs, he's got Deonta Foreman and Ramondre Stevenson in both his starting slots. That's kind of rough. He's going to need his wide receivers to do a hard carry job.
Yucky.
And then looking at my team, I just need something to happen. Who knows if I'll make a move? If I were to make a move, it'd be with a guy like Jack, who's got good wide receivers, but no running backs, which would be interesting. Jack will never make a trade, but I'm just saying something like that could happen.
Don't waste your time.
Who would you trade? Maybe you trade me Justin Herbert. Have you thought about that?
Oh, maybe a three-way trade.
I'll give you Kyler.
We'll take this off the air.
And Mike Evans.
Do it live. Hit the accept button.
No, I need to check my Fantasy Plus trade meter. So
Oh
looking
my
at
God.
So this is big. I think this is a big defining moment for both of our teams. Whether I drop to 3-6 or Jack goes to 7-2, I think this is a giant matchup. What does the book think about this one?
Yeah, for me, Ted, personally, we've harped on your struggling, so we don't need to go any more into that. Get Goff my lawn. He's having his tight end and Christian Kirk both on a bye, which both are solidified starters for him. They have been his starters week in and week out, so they're not just like plug and play tight end flex guys. But those two stud receivers, I'm sorry. I feel like there is nothing you can do to stop them. I've been skeptical. I've been on record saying how skeptical I am. I'm no longer skeptical. There's no stopping them. Mahomes gets healthy because he's been dealing with a stomach bug. Watch out, for you, Ted. What you need for a win, besides a miracle, is Saquon and King Henry. Some great performances from them. Justin Herbert, sorry, different Justin. And maybe if Tyreek and A.J. Brown get severely injured, maybe a severed leg, you might have a chance. Now, from the book's point of view, we have Jack at -8.5 money line. We have Jack -180, -185. Ted, you at -105. Ted, have you taken the juice, or are you going with Ted?
God bless. My phone keeps falling. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I call this, unfortunately, the David and Goliath matchup.
Oh.
That's the difference I see. However, if Ted can do it, it's going to be in a week like this. Your bread and butter, Ted, they go by the names Derek and Saquon, baby. We just touched on it. Playing bottom of the league fantasy defenses against running backs. Let's move on to Jack. No Kittle, no Christian Kirk. You want to say thin at running back? Try nothing. You're talking about
running back.
Then at running back, you never want to start a Wait, what? What did I do?
No, keep going. Keep going.
I know. I'm just going off my notes. Deontay Foreman. I mean, Roshan Johnson and Deontay Foreman had 9 touches apiece. He has nowhere to go at running back. And you guys said, like, oh, maybe Jack should make a trade. If Jack's going to trade with everyone, or with anyone, maybe look at Kyle's team. Someone stacked at running back, desperate for a receiver. Little flippity flop action there. But if you and then also Tyreek and AJ Brown both with tough matchups this week. So I'm going to take Teddy with the points. If I'm getting 8.5, it's Teddy with the points, and I think that he is not done yet.
I thought you were going to say, and I would still go Jack -8.5.
Jack is going to be upset watching this one. Taking a look at the next matchup, we've got Trevor at Chase. And
why do I always have to go last?
Because I go out with a bang. We've got Trevor at Chase in what I like to call the San Fran Revenge Man game. This is big. Trevor has Joe Burrow back in his lineup. That is not a good sign. He's been having some great production from Alvin Kamara. And Chase, on the other hand, has Jamar Chase, who's being thrown to from Joe Burrow. I smell a little sabotage from Trevor on that. Chase, he had CJ Stroud. He's got Dak Prescott back in his quarterback. I think that's going to get him. I think Chase really needs his wide receivers to get him this win. And Trevor really needs Kamara, Pacheco to play like who they should be playing like. What does the book think?
Yeah, that Dak and CD stack with Chase's team, I feel like might be huge in that Eagles matchup, which I haven't looked at what the line is set at, but I feel like it would be fairly high. Pizza Hut texted me, don't ghost the big dinner box for Halloween.
Don't do it. Hey, no free ads.
Sorry. Yeah. That's true. That is true.
Pizza Hut.
Maybe they'll reach out to us.
We'll cut
Maybe
that
they'll
out.
reach out to us. But the only bye week issue with this matchup with Chase, Brandon Ayuk, but he shouldn't start him anyways with his stud receivers unless he has that insider info like we were talking about. Trevor overall, I think from top to bottom has a solid team, and from top to bottom, I mean running back to defense, because it's incredible what he's done with the quarterback position, which, like we mentioned, needs to be investigated. I even heard as commissioner, he's been thinking about making that quarterback position a flex position so he can put
What?
anyone he wants in that. That's what I heard through the grapevine. He Snapchatted that to me, so I don't have evidence. But that's something to be looked at. Me personally, I see a lot of value on Chase, but from what I got from the book, this matchup is a pick 'em minus 120. What do you guys think?
Wow. I'll go into my some of my notes on the San Fran Revenge Man game. I mean, these two just hate each other. But let's dive into the numbers a little bit. So, one little peek behind the curtain, if you will. The 49ers, we're talking in real life, guys, they're on a bye. So Chase is going to be able to put all of his time into this matchup.
That's true.
He's a busy guy. He's a very important guy, more important than any of us on this call, probably combined. So that is bad news for Trevor. So I'll sneak peek my pick here and say I am going to go with Chase. I think that his team's looking pretty good.
I did just hear from the book that they did not put that into account, and it's now Chase minus 10.5. So
Wow.
You got
big favorite now.
Wow.
I will now go Trevor money line.
Well, now wait a second. We have Chase trying to find that sweet spot.
But you guys keep me on my toes. You got such good previews. I'm trying not to double say anything. I will say though, I've informed Joe Burrow's loved ones not to attend Sunday night's game. Trevor has him in his starting quarterback. I mean, let's see here. Trevor's quarterback history, and then we have Bengals and Bills in a primetime game. Has anything bad ever happened before in a Bills-Bengals primetime game, injury-wise? Jesus Christ. You think Mr. Hamlin was bad, Joe might just explode. And so Trevor's cursed. It's absolutely unbelievable.
God.
But to kind of echo what RJ was saying, I mean, Trevor, his team, it ain't going to win any beauty contests, but he's still in there. He's in 6th place. He's in the playoff picture, and he always seems to find a way. So I think it'll be close, but I am going to go with Chase if this remains a pick.
All right, well, let's take a look at the next matchup. I'm calling this the prove yourself matchup. We've got Kyle at Kevin. Kevin, I think you need some big bounce back performances from Puka and Travis Kelce. I think those two are going to be your keys. And then I think Kyle needs Eckler, Gibbs, and Pollard to play like how they should play. And I think that might give him the win. But that wide receiver inconsistency, Olave, Devonta Smith, Gabe Davis, might be tough for Kyle. What does the book think about this one?
Well, Ted, you mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs needing to have a great week. They're on a bye.
Oh.
Kevin doesn't have to face Jahmyr Gibbs. The 4 teams on a bye, we got the Broncos, Lions, Jags, and Niners. So that is massive for Kyle having Jahmyr Gibbs break out. And I think it sucks for him because he has that bye week now. Next week, David Montgomery is going to be back. You'll have no idea what the snap share is going to be. It puts him in a very tough position. This is the biggest bye week issue in the whole matchup with Jahmyr Gibbs. Overall, for me, I couldn't get a great read on the game. I don't know which Olave Garden is going to show up. There are 2 completely different teams. You know, Kyle's running backs hold up their end with some very tough matchups. Will they? I don't know. Will Gabe Davis come out to perform like he did last week? I don't know. He was on his bench last week. What about Kevin, DeAndre Hopkins? That relationship with Will Levis Thursday night? No idea. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. And then what about Puka? Where are we with Matthew Stafford's health? The target share? Who knows? I'm really not sure. But the book actually has it at Kevin minus 3.5. Kevin at minus 135 money line. Kyle at minus 115. I do see we're short on time. Kev, what do you got?
Ted, you said the prove it matchup. I agree with that, but I call this the gunslinger matchup. We have the 2 top quarterbacks in the league going head to head, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Look, you know, it's just been kind of an alphabet soup for my team lately. I plug and play some guys. If you look up and down the roster, James Cook is projected 0 right now. I don't know why. He was colored red on the he's literally not hurt. They just signed Leonard Fournette, which bones him anyway.
Do you have no D? Do you have no D? Do you have a D
No
in your B?
Do you have a D in your B right now?
I have a D in my B and in my R.
I got a D
My
in my D,
roster.
but they're on a bye.
Oh, I was gonna say like your LW.
But it's just been an alphabet soup. I mean, honestly, going 2-0 against the big dogs the last couple of weeks, I credit to the manager, so credit to myself. I mean, I might start Hopkins, who Levis might love, Kareem Hunt. I mean, he gets a good amount of carries now with Ford kind of hurt. I just don't know. I mean, not a lot of superstars on my roster, but we're going to keep playing the matchups and try to find a way to win. On Kyle's side, you guys touched on it, but I'm hoping to take advantage of his receiver troubles. The biggest part is just how inconsistent they are. They just had some big weeks, Devonta Smith and Gabe Davis. So hoping that they put up a couple of duds and I can sneak my way past here. But
why is James Cook projected 0 points?
Are you looking right now? I don't know. I was like, oh, like what happened? He got an MRI or something? There's nothing. And he just had a really good week. Like he out-carried
it says
Murray.
James Cook takes on main role.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
I don't know. But yeah, signing Leonard Fournette hurts. That's pretty much all I got here. If you like quarterback play, you love this matchup. The two top quarterbacks in fantasy going at it.
I think I missed something. Who signed Leonard Fournette?
The Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that hurts because Latavius was already getting a lot of goal line work. So I don't know. Very promising that Josh Jacobs played well. I need him to get back to form, but we'll see what we can do here. Win ugly if we have to, but gunslinger matchup, baby. Let's get to above 500 for the first time this year. That's what I'm going for.
That'd be big.
Ted, what do you think about that matchup? Who'd you have with Kevin minus 3.5? Which side would you take?
I think this is going to be the moment where Kyle sort of gets hot. I've got to take Kyle. I'm not saying anything against Kevin. I think his team is looking a little bit. What I like the most about fantasy football, what I try to do, which I have not done, is you want good players on good teams. And I think Kyle has just that with the Bills, Eckler. You want guys who are playing meaningful games. I think Kyle has that. And no offense against Kevin, although he deserves some, I just think this might be a turning for Kyle, turning his season around.
And to RJ's, I even forgot, like to RJ's point, alphabet soup. I mean, Puka, what do I even do? I don't even know.
I never once said alphabet soup. That was you that said alphabet
You've
soup.
been talking about alphabet soup.
I haven't had
nuclear. Oh. Yeah. No, but Puka, your point was Koopa. Just contribute to this whole alphabet soup. I mean, I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, with the alphabet soup, that's all we have.
C, D, E,
Kevin,
F,
thanks
G,
for being on the podcast, and I just wanted to give you a little opportunity. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on in this league. Some people have been frustrated. He's obviously not taking this seriously when I'm trying. Kevin, I just want to give you an opportunity to say something towards any allegations that have been wagered allegedly against you. I just want you to give the opportunity to speak for yourself and to say, talk about your character, who you are, and just respond to anything like that in a public forum.
I've just been responding to recaps and previews. I'm here to talk fantasy football. Not even really sure what you're talking about, but I just see 2-0 the last 2 weeks. I'm going to try to make it 3-0. That's all I got to say about that.
Wow. Not even denying a
denial.
Thing. Well,
the lack of denial of having that conversation really speaks for itself.
Yeah.
You know what they say? LMNOP.
I do know what they say, and they don't say LMNOP.
As always, thanks for listening to the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game. I hear there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of holes in the books. Be sure to follow us on social at ZFFFLFFPOD on all major platforms. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always, Bug, you, Trevor. It gets more depressing every time. Thanks for watching. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, that was good. Oh,